Hello and welcome to Liz Bolter Wisdom. So, decided to make a few videos this week. I've had lots going on, lots happening, lots that I want to share with you. The first thing that I'd like to share in this video is about my experience and my some channelings that I had during the what is being called the 1212 portal. So just looking at the date there, today it's the 15th today. A very cold day here in England. We've just kind of got over some heavy snow, and it's just a beautiful sunny day, but it's very cold. So 1212. So there was I wasn't aware of 1212 being any kind of portal or having any kind of significance at all. And then good old Facebook, social media, people started posting stuff about the 1212 portal. So I kind of sit in two places about all of this, and I kind of feel, that if enough people talk about something, if enough people discuss that something is real, and kind of place a some sort of conscious decision about that reality on it, then it becomes real. Lots of people were talking about this 1212, 1212 is really important. There was going to be this big portal. It was going to kind of really have a massive impact on us. So on I think the 11th, obviously a lot of people were posting stuff then that I was seeing, and I started to feel it rising in me. Again, does this thing exist separate to us, or to me this is about us co-creating, and that we have the ability to co-create these portals. We can create these portals as what we call individuals, but we can also co-create. The co-creation of these portals is something that we do, and we do all the time. And I think this is one of the blessings. Obviously there's a few downsides, but there's many blessings about this whole internet connection, this kind of universal connection that we now have. So the more people that are talking about a particular reality, we bring that into co-creation. That obviously also works on things that maybe we don't want. We might find more challenging. So just being really conscious of what it is that we are choosing to talk about en masse, being really conscious of what we are choosing to co-create. So on the 11th, I started to feel kind of like, I felt it bodily. I felt kind of, oh yeah, something's changing here, something's shifting. And didn't quite know what the changes were in me, but what I began to feel was a massive sense of grief. A real massive sense of grief within me, rising from personal stories, from what felt like personal stories, and also a kind of wider collective grief that was rising in me. And part of the narrative of that was to do with separateness and togetherness, connecting, and a lot. Obviously, people were talking a lot about twin souls, and that this is a time where that there is that potential for those vibrational shifts to change, linked to twin souls. So I had a lot rising in me. I really wanted to cry, and I just couldn't cry. So I kind of set myself up. Something I've learned to do over the years is, you feel it rising. It needed to come out. So I set myself up to cry. I watched some films, a couple of movies that I knew would bring on my tears. And once that clearing happened, once I was able I didn't kind of fully cry. It was still there, I was still holding it somewhere. So I did kind of a good bit of kind of body moving, doing some different asanas, different yoga moves, and just stretching. It doesn't have to be yoga, just getting moving, getting it shaking out of my body. And once I'd done that enough, I then began to channel, and I began to channel the word magic. I began to channel that this is the time of the magic, that this is it, that this is the opportunity, that this portal that we have potentially co-created is offering us the opportunity to embrace the magic, our magic. And I began to channel that basically between this portal that we've potentially just released, opened, allowed, that between that and our solstice here in the UK, 2021 is our winter solstice. We're in the northern hemisphere, so different if you're in the southern hemisphere. But the solstice is obviously something that we all do experience. And just as a side note to this, it's often there's that term I think it's become quite big on social media, and it's fear of missing out. Fear of missing out. Oh my goodness, everyone else is experiencing this and I'm not. And that I see that happening a lot in the spiritual world. This world of looking at expansion and awareness and all of that. If you don't feel something, you don't feel it. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. And I think this is what one of the many things that we really need to move away from is this need to judge ourselves against others and others' experiences. So, for instance, this portal, I felt it. Maybe you did, maybe you didn't. The solstice, maybe you'll feel it, maybe you don't. Maybe, I feel the moon very strongly, the full moon, the new moon. Maybe you do and maybe you don't. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. It's okay to not feel those things. And, sometimes there can be potentially this judgment on ourselves if we are not experiencing what everybody else on Facebook seems to be experiencing, or Instagram, or whatever is your bag. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Just let it go. Let it go. Okay, you might want to focus on what another person's experience is and embrace what they have to say. But don't, still just let it go. Allow yourself that self-compassion to let it go if you don't feel it. Don't feel like you have to push. And this was something I experienced at the beginning, or kind of partway through my journey. I remember being attuned to Reiki many, many years ago. So I think that's about 20 something years ago now. And my lovely Reiki teacher, was saying things like, oh, there's this guide come in the room now, and I'm working with this person now, and I'm feeling this energy, and this kind of animal has come in now, and I'm thinking, okie dokie, I'm not getting that, but I trust you. I trust your experience of this, and I just kind of intuitively knew just to let it go, to not get hung up about why wasn't I experiencing what this other person was experiencing, and did that mean I wasn't as good? Did that mean that somehow I wasn't going to be on that spiritual journey as I kind of saw it? It doesn't mean that. Just let it go. So the portal. So yeah, this magic, this absolute magic. It's a magical time. Oh, there is so much that I began to channel once I'd done that initial release. And so often that is something that's needed. Just as a side, again, another side from this, I felt very bogged down in my story. I think bogged down is an understatement. I felt really kind of buried by my story around the time of this portal opportunity. And I took myself down to, we have a little wooded area, so I took my dog for a walk down the little wooded area. And the moment that I stepped in to be with those trees, I just was like, I could let it go. And I immediately heard this voice, and it was incredibly strong voice. You know, I get voices all the time, but it was like booming, you know. And it was a bit like my voice, but then there was another voice and then another voice. So it was all kind of like echoing through these woods and into me and within me and from me. And the voice said, whenever your story gets too much, come and be with the trees. And I knew that message wasn't just for me. I knew that message was for others. And I really want to share that really strongly with you guys now, because we all have these stories that we're living, these narratives, these stories. And more about that again, probably in another video. I've intuited a lot about false narratives recently, false soul narratives, stories that we took on, that we believed were for good, for our highest good, but yeah, were potentially seen through the eyes of an illusion. And so these stories can often feel very heavy for us, very heavy. And when your story feels heavy, when you're just struggling, when it's like, I really don't want to be in this story, go and be with the trees. I've felt this for a very long time now, that the trees are here to support us on this journey, on this shift, on this change, this massive, massive change that we're going through. And that, you know, yes, we know about the kind of the energy exchange that trees offer us, you know, the carbon dioxide and oxygen exchange that they offer us as human beings, but there is more. And so right now my Sasquatch family are coming in really close and kind of nodding, and yeah, you know, their vibration is kind of like jumping up, because they're kind of nodding and going, yeah, the Sasquatch know this. The Sasquatch work with the trees. There's this kind of amazing communication that goes on between Sasquatch and the trees. Be with the trees. Be with the trees. They will hold you. They will hold you, support you to cope with your story while you need to cope with it. And I do believe we're moving eventually into a time where these false narratives, these false soul narratives that we took on will begin to dissolve. And we're in that time now. If you don't live in an area where there are trees, find something, some sort of piece of nature. I'm even feeling like that even could be, you know, things that you've bought that are growing things, you know, maybe some herbs, maybe some vegetables, you know, or something like that, but something that is of the earth. But the trees are amazing. And so yeah, so be with the trees when your story gets too much. So the magic of this time that we're in right now, to allow yourself to experience that magic, then, you know, do give yourself time off. Offer yourself that self-compassion, that self-care, that time to breathe. That time just to be, to step out of the story, step out of your story when you can. And this magic that we are experiencing right now, this opportunity for magic, I'm channeling at the moment, so I'm slowing down a little bit. The experience that, the opportunity for this experience that's here is so much to do with the dissolving of our stories, these false narratives, these false soul stories that we took on. You know, this false belief that we had to suffer, that we had to somehow undo this, thing called karma. This is all part of an illusion. And this is the opportunity to shed that skin, to shed many layers, many skins. And this is the time for embracing our DNA connectedness. And again, at this point, I'm my Sasquatch family that are here with us right now are, rather than kind of nodding, how we as human beings will go, yeah, I get what you're saying. It's their vibration is just going like that. It's just kind of like really, really buzzing, and just rising whenever I say something that they are in full agreement with and resonating with. So we're here at this time, this magical time, and so this connectedness, this is from our DNA. So I want to just mention this here because I want to do a whole video about DNA, because I think this is a massive time of shift, of change, of a change in awareness of what we perceive DNA to be. This has been coming for a long time, and this is certainly something that I have been channeling for a long time, from various sources and from my own sense of intuition, is that we are at this time where our perception of what DNA is rapidly and massively changing. So all I want to kind of throw out right now is that your DNA is not just this, the expression. It is part of it. I'm not going to kind of completely throw that out. Your DNA, yes, it offers you this expression of, hair color, maybe kind of like your body type or skin color or whatever it is. But it's so much more than that. So much more than that. And it's really exciting. I find it so exciting. I really do. This whole thing with DNA, DNA is not just a part of our individual makeup. It's actually there is a mutual DNA connection, communication, awareness, and experience that we have. So DNA is not just in my body. It's not just something that's in my cells. It's not just living there. It's living what we perceive to be externally from our body. So it's there. It's in our communication. DNA is our consciousness. And last night, when I was sort of mulling over all of this, I also got that DNA it's in all the things. It's in our connection with all our things, and it's in those things. So this computer, the microphone, my jumper, whatever it is, it's DNA. And that kind of jars slightly, doesn't it, with what we have been led to believe, that these things are separate and these things are made up of certain molecules and certain atoms that make up this thing, whatever it is, this object, and that they are separate to us. But for a long time, I think a lot of people have been intuiting and knowing that, and having this awareness that things are not separate, that nothing is separate. We have a separate awareness of experience, but we do not necessarily have, but we don't have this actual separateness that we've been buying into, basically, so I feel that is all part of co-creation, manifestation, everything. So I'm going to go deeper into that. I'm going to go deeper into that in a whole video about DNA. and the and all about co-creation. And with this portal that we've gone through, we've co-created that. In my belief, we have co-created that. And what else are we co-creating? What else are we giving ourselves this opportunity to co-create? And this world, this earth, this consciousness that we are living in, this is a massive, massive opportunity for us to evolve and make the changes and shift our awareness and become who we are, who we already are. So just allowing that just to kind of fizz around maybe for a while, that DNA is not just this, it's not just the bricks and mortar of your body, and that DNA, there is a mutual DNA. There is that part of the expression, and that includes objects. We're in a kind of object time of year, in that it's Christmas here in the UK, if you celebrate Christmas, or if you celebrate any other kind of festivals at this time of year and celebrations. But I know certainly, looking around where I live, people are buying, people are kind of shopping for objects, things. We love things. And just allowing yourself to have that awareness that those things are also part of our DNA. And I don't know if that sounds controversial. I don't know if that's something that other people are intuiting. I think the whole thing with DNA, it deserves a whole video, definitely, and more. So I'm going to just allow that, I'm just going to throw that out for now, and allow you just to kind of have it as a possible. Yeah, let it go. So thank you so much for listening. I'm going to make a few more videos hopefully today. I've got nice bright light. It's cold here, but it's very bright. So hoping to make a few videos today about various things. So thank you so much for listening. Please like and subscribe if you get a chance, and you can contact me at returntowisdom@hotmail.com. Always happy to reply, and bounce off ideas with people. I love that. And I have a website, lizbolterwisdom.com. So get in touch. But thank you so much for listening and for watching. Take care. Thank you.